I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Um, my name is Matt Sabala. I'm an annuity sales director here at IMS. Been here for a couple of years now. And like I said, we are really pleased to have you guys on the call today to discuss what I think is one of the most, I guess, looked over opportunities here at IMS, which is, in general terms, Allianz. Allianz has been a major player in this space since really its inception. They've been industry leaders, I think, like 18 out of the last 21 years, something like that, in the annuity space. Always have a very competitive product portfolio, have an excellent support team of people like Dave in their advanced markets team, and have strategies that are going to help you set yourself apart from other advisors in terms of things like Roth conversions, but also some unique product features that we'll discuss today, like increasing income and rate lock features that right now, man, I do a lot of business with other carriers as well. I have clients that were able to lock in 10, 11% gains over their last 1 year allocations because they utilize the rate lock feature with Allianz. And then I have clients who were up that much 6 months ago with a group, another group on an accumulation product, and then lost all that within the last 6 months. So some really cool features on Allianz products we'll discuss today as well. So again, I'm Matt Sabala. 38 years ago when IMS was founded, we focused on a foundation of service. And everybody tells you that they do service well. We really do embody that. We just purchased a $100,000 phone system here at IMS. We have disabled some of the features that phone system has that made it cost that much, like some of the cool voicemail features and some of the other automated features, because we always want you to talk to a live person here. And so whenever you call into IMS, you're always going to get a live person. We've got a great support team. I'll detail that here as we go forward, but we're big on service, but we're also big on other reasons that you would do business with us. In your first 6 months contracted with us, we are very aggressive in reinvesting, and I apologize, guys, I got some congestion today, on reinvesting in our producers that have recently joined us. At different thresholds, the $100,000, $250,000, up to $1 million thresholds during your first 6 months contracted with us, we will reinvest in your practice at those different levels. And I'm not sure who that is, but I'm getting a little bit of feedback. If you wouldn't mind muting just until we have you present. But in my first couple of years here at IMS, I'll be here 2 years in May. I had several people hit that $1 million level. We did things like put on seminars for those folks, or do face-to-face meetings with people looking for different tax mitigation strategies, people in the federal space, whatever it may be. We help them reinvest in their practice, keep their sales funnel full, or if they were already doing something that was very successful for them in terms of marketing, we just reinvested in what they knew worked for them, because different things work for different people. The basic idea is if you have a marketing strategy that you want to try or that you know is effective for you, we want to invest in it and help you be successful in 2025 and beyond. And we continue that even after your first 6 months contracted with us. We continue to invest in a marketing budget for you. So just like you guys, the best new client that we're going to get is typically going to be from a referral. If you refer somebody to us, we're going to give you $50 when they get contracted. We're going to pay you when they write business. That's where the real money kicks in. On a $100,000 annuity policy, for example, we'll give you $200, and that continues indefinitely while you're contracted with us. Great way to build a downline without the headaches of an agency. But by the way, if you do want to build an agency, that's something I'm very well versed in. So get a hold of me, Matt Sabala. I can help you set up an agency and go through what it's going to take in terms of training and kind of just build out a routine, maybe even a normal sales call that we do with your guys to help them be successful and build that agency in a very methodical and predictable fashion. 3 things I think we do really well. Number 1 is back office support. This goes back to service. We've got people who understand the ins and outs of each carrier that we work with, are very, very understanding of what we need to see on applications, on pieces of new business to overcome any obstacles that we run into before we get there, but to handle any issues when they arise. So you stay in front of clients selling, and we help out by being on hold with a carrier or whatever it may be, trying to take as much of that off of your plate as possible. So we have Mackenzie and her team on the annuity side, Michelle and her team on the life side. We do a lot of business with Allianz, especially on the life side, but that's been picking up on annuities as well. We can help you through that process and simplify it so the submission to commission process is very efficient for you. Our website, lots of useful information, not going to go into too much detail, but everything from rate watch, all kinds of sales tools, calculators, fact finders, presentations, whatever you need, training, it's there somewhere. If you've never had a walkthrough, get with your sales director, and we will make sure you have a good understanding of the critical resources that you have there. Speaking of critical resources, if you aren't submitting business electronically, you really are, I think, doing a disservice to yourself and your clients. I don't care if you're 37 or 97. It is almost always easier to submit electronically, and it's easier for, sorry guys, I should have muted that. It's almost easier always for you to submit electronically, and I bet it's easier for your client as well. Simple DocuSign is all that's required. It's just a couple of clicks away on our website. We'll walk you through how to get started with Luma, Firelight, and iPipeline. Second thing I think we do really well is creative services, guys. We do all kinds of stuff, starting with simple logo creation, business cards, and stationery, all the way up to radio, TV. If you want to be on Fox News, we can put you there, and everything in between. We got a team of people who specialize in understanding what the industry needs. This is the only place that they work is within financial services, and it's not a profit center for us. So if you need a good website for what you do, which is so important in this day and age, you can go down the street and pay somebody to make it look really nice, and that's great. You're going to pay them a lot of money to do that. You're probably going to run into quite a few bumps because they don't understand the compliance and things that are needed in financial services in a lot of cases. Or you could come here. You may not pay for it at all if you're running business with us. Most likely you won't. But if you do need to pay for it, it's going to be very inexpensive compared to what you can get down the street. And it's probably going to be something that you can implement more seamlessly because we understand this space very well. So if you need any of that branding, we do that. But if you need creative marketing solutions, that's something we do as well. We are very, very effective in understanding how to get you in front of people. And if you have any questions as far as what we can do for you in terms of that, we do a customized marketing strategy to help you understand what are our capabilities and how do they align with what you're trying to achieve based on your goals. And we'll do a custom marketing strategy to help you map out ways to reach and exceed your goals in 2025 and beyond. IMS Wealth Management, 2016, 2018, we started IMS Wealth Management as a resource to people who didn't have their securities licenses to either earn them or partner with somebody who could act as a fiduciary for their clients. I'm sure some of you who are insurance only have lost clients to people saying they're going to their financial advisor to have a conversation. You never get that business. This is a way to keep your clients close so they don't have to go visit with another advisor. We have people on our IMS Wealth Management team that will partner with you to offer those types of services to your clients. If you want to earn your license, they'll flip those clients right back to you once you do, and they'll provide a resource to you to get your license. And we have, I think it's over 80 or 90 people right now that partner with IMS Wealth Management and actually have their 65 at IMS Wealth Management, and then a whole bunch more that are earning and working towards that. So great team of people over there. A second thing I think we do really, really well, guys, is our Life and Annuity Academy. We have our first one coming up here just in a couple of weeks in Des Moines, Iowa. It's top advisors telling how they've become successful in the industry and helping you implement their sales processes, strategies, concepts, into your practice. What can you take from what they've done and put your own spin on it, find things that work for you, and implement it within your practice. We also talk a lot about the marketing that's been successful, go over product a little bit, but it's an opportunity to share ideas, bump shoulders, bump elbows, I think is actually the term, with people who are at the apex of the industry, so we can help you get there as well. If you'd like to come out, we have like 2 spots left. Let me know. I can do what I can do to see if we can get you out there, but we need to know, I think today is the cutoff if you'd like to attend our Life and Annuity Academy in April. It's April 2nd through the 4th, and then we'll be doing several more throughout the year. So if you don't make it to this one, let us know. We'll get you to the next one. All right, I'm just about done here, but we do love to provide incentives for our producers. We've got some great trips that we take people on. We've got our trek to Quebec going on right now. Qualification wraps up June 30th of this year. $5 million of FIA production will get you there, or similar value of life production, and it's carrier agnostic. You can write that business with anybody. So we would love to get you out there. It'll be a great opportunity to kind of kick back for a week, bump elbows again with, other top advisors, and just have a good time while you're at it. Finally, like and follow us on social media. That may not be important to you as a producer to participate in social media, but it's important to some of your clients. If you're not staying in front of people, they're not going to think of you sometimes when you have an opportunity to do business with them. So if you don't have this sort of process automated for your practice, it's very simple. Another thing our creative does is this. And if you'd like us to do that for you, just let us know. Very simple, very cost efficient, but an important strategy, I think, for just kind of a constant opportunity to work with people who you're not already working with. Get a hold of me, Matt S. I guess I'd be Matt S. at IAMSinc.com. If you have any questions about today's presentation, or you have any information that you'd like to hear more about what I just went over. But I'm going to hand you guys off to Allianz and our team of people over there to help you out, going through our Roth conversion strategies and some of the products. And then I will be there to answer questions right towards the end of the presentation. So thanks again. Let me hand this off to you guys, and I believe you should have the ability to share your screen.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, Matt. So my name's Dave Vogel. I'm with the Advanced Markets team here at Allianz. I'm going to just do a quick demo of our Roth conversion tool. Roth conversion has been a hot topic ever since 2017 when they passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We're obviously at the end of that bill. It's being debated right now if they're going to extend it. It is probably likely that they extend the current tax rates for another 10 years, but we don't know that. But what we do know is that, there's a lot of debt in this country, some 36 trillion and growing. People are under the assumption that their taxes could likely go up in the future. And one of the things that we always like to illustrate is that, even if you think you're in a lower bracket today than you're going to be in the future, or you're not sure that you're going to be in a higher bracket in the future, I always like to think of just one example. Let's say you've got a 60-year-old couple. They just retired, their kids are through college, the house is paid off, and let's just say they need around $100,000 of income to pay the bills, go on vacation, have a car payment maybe, and they're good enough. So we just have this graph here. We've got 60-year-old couple, 65, they've got $1 million each. So we're going to just focus on this darker green bar, blue bar. What happens if that IRA balance grows by only 5% a year and they only take RMD out each year? And you can see over time, if they're just taking out their RMD, the balance is going to continue to grow even at a 5% rate. And that eventually, in their 90s, that RMD is going to grow to 280 some thousand. Okay, they were thinking they need 100,000. Eventually, later in age, they're going to be growing, that RMD by substantial amounts. And so this is something where if you think taxes are going up, even if you don't think taxes are going up, your income just from your RMDs might go up. So we want to talk about some of those possibilities of doing a Roth conversion. So I've got my hypothetical client, they need 100,000 a year. With the standard deduction, you can actually go up to 130,000 of income and still stay in that 12% bracket. Okay. Now, obviously, tax brackets are indexed for inflation, so that 280 is not going to be the equivalent of 280 today, but you get the idea here is that it's quite possible that they could go up. So I just got some quick math here. We don't need to get into the nitty gritty. Let's say they're taking out 100,000 just for living expenses. They have a 30,000 standard deduction, and they're thinking about doing a $300,000 conversion. So if you walk through the brackets here, you can go 10 to 12, 22, 24 with a $300,000 conversion done all at once, plus their 100,000 of income. We can see they're going to have about 105,000 of income taxes paid. So that puts them effectively at the 28% bracket. All right, so I'm going to switch over to our Roth conversion tool. And here we go. So this is on our website, allianzlife.com. And we're going to look at the ABC product, balanced approach. And let's just say we're going to issue this at age 60. They're going to turn on income at age 70. We're talking $300,000 of premium. So not all of their money, just a portion of it. We're going to assume a 3% crediting rate. And let's say we're going to convert this over 10 years. Okay, so at Allianz, one of the great features we have with our products is that we do allow partial conversions. Okay, as long as you have not turned on the income rider and you're converting product minimum, in this case, 20,000 is product minimum for this product, we can do partial conversions. You don't start a surrender charge over, you get a new contract, but it's a mirror image of what your clients originally bought. So caps, credits, spreads, the income rider, the death benefit, all that carries over to the new Roth contract. You can put in their life expectancy. I just picked 90 here. And discount rate, effectively inflation, we're going to put it 2.5%. And if they were going to convert all at once, that full 300,000, they're going to be in the 28% bracket. Okay. If we do a series of partial conversions, and I picked 300,000 over 10 years, 30,000 a year. So again, we can stay in that 12% bracket. If 100,000 is enough to pay the bills and have some fun, we have an additional 30,000 we could convert each year to stay in that 12% bracket. Okay, so then we click see results. It recalculates. You can change any of these assumptions. This is just a hypothetical. We can see if we just had that IRA pay out, it'd pay $955,000 pre-tax. If we do a single Roth conversion, pay tax out of pocket, it's going to pay $955,000 as well. Same with the set of partials. But here, if we look at, if we do, the conversion all at once over, that lifetime, we're going to pay $114,000 in taxes over that set period to age 90. If we do a single Roth conversion where we have all that tax paid up front, we're going to have $84,000 in taxes paid. And if we do it partially, staying in that 12% bracket, we're going to have $45,000 of income taxes paid. And so you can see here on the net payout, $840,000 pre-tax if we do no Roth conversion, $871,000. Again, over time with that growth, we do come out ahead by doing the Roth conversion. Or if we do partially, $909,000 net payout after tax. So this is one of the things we like to, just show you. You can go through the numbers here. And I'm not saying that everyone should do a Roth conversion. It doesn't make sense for everyone. You know, if you've got someone in their 50s at their, let's say, peak earning years, converting at a higher tax bracket now versus when they retire probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But I just like to go back to my example for your clients, you know, that are between retirement age and age 73, when they have to start taking RMDs and they can control their income, right? That's when it makes sense to sit down with the accountant, talk about what they would owe in taxes on it, but look at doing a series of Roth conversions if they expect to be in a higher bracket than they are today. So I'm going to stop right there. Matt, if you have any questions, or if anyone on the call here has any questions, I'd be happy to take them. I just wanted to show this here.
Well, thank you for going through that. I have a comment. I don't think there is a tool that is as good as this one in the industry that the carriers offer. There are plenty of carriers that offer Roth conversions, but the simplicity in which Allianz does it for you and your clients, and the tool that they can use to illustrate this, I think is pretty unparalleled. So if you guys haven't tried it with Allianz yet, I'd say give them a shot at your next Roth conversion opportunity. I do have a couple of questions. The RMD bar chart, what is the age difference? Was asked by one of our producers. Does that question make sense to you?
Yeah, let's see here. It did not carry over. That is strange. There should be ages here. So this, yeah, this is in the, oh, there. So if I highlight it, age 93, 282,000. This is age 83 and age 73.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I see it there on the when you hover over it, but
Right.
I'm
Normally
sure
it's
that
to
answers
the
the question.
side. I don't know what happened to it. So
I think if you hit that present button, maybe that pulls up some of the information that you may be missing. Otherwise, I might be wrong about that. But another question is, that tool is designed for people who have an Allianz annuity and then are converting, correct? And I think the answer is yes. That is specific to Allianz products.
yes. And so we've got a couple different products we can illustrate. 222. We've got the ABC, the accelerated version, and we've also got the balanced version. I just picked the balanced. It'll illustrate those different products. We don't have others on there at this point, but these are the three products we can run the tool on.
Okay. And then another question just came in. Why traditional IRA go with only 12% tax rate? How could lower tax rate 12% receive less compared to the middle side pay 28% tax bracket?
Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint real quick. So this is the thresholds that you get to before bumping up to the next bracket. And so this is my example, someone in their 60s that want 100,000 for, spending fund money, and they have an additional 30,000 they could take and stay in that 12% bracket. And then if we look here, if they're taking money out of the traditional IRA, they're staying in that 12% bracket. Okay. If they convert the 300,000 at once, that bumps them up into the 28% bracket, or a blended rate of 28%. Okay. But if you do those partial conversions, that 30,000 per year, we can stay in that 12% bracket. So this is lifetime taxes paid from just the IRA, okay? You'd have 114,000 over the lifetime from age 60 till 90. If you do the conversion all at once, you pay $84,000 in taxes. And if you do a series of partial Roth conversions, you ultimately take out tax-free money from the Roth with all that future growth tax-free. And then this number.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. Nope. And then that's the net payout over time. The series of partial Roth conversions, given those assumptions. And again, you can be as detailed as you want with these amounts, or just ballparking it. You can show that the series of partial Roth conversions makes sense to the client.
Okay. And then final question I think that we'll have time for right now is, how does the 5-year rule affect the income? If converted over 10 years, some funds need to wait for the 5 years to be ready for tax-free withdrawal. And then that's in terms of a question.
Yeah, no, great question. So there are 2 5-year clocks, if you will, with a Roth, okay? The 5-year conversion clock applies to someone under the age of 59 and a half. So if you convert at age 30, you have to wait 5 full years until you can take that converted amount out tax and penalty free, okay? If you're over 59 and a half, there is no 5-year clock for the converted amount, all right? The Roth ordering rules say that your contributions come out first. They're always tax and penalty free. You could be 25 years old, put $5,000 into the Roth. The following year, you could take that $5,000 out tax and penalty free on your contributions. The second amount that comes out are your converted amounts. These are the IRS ordering rules for Roth. So after 5 years, you can take out the converted amount tax and penalty free. So if you convert it 25, you could take the converted amount out at age 30. If you're 60 years old and you do a conversion, it's your first Roth conversion, it's your first Roth account, you're over the age of 59 and a half, you can actually take that converted amount out tax and penalty free. You don't have to worry about the 5-year conversion clock. And then the last thing that comes out are your earnings from the Roth. And that's an and statement. So it has to be over 59 and a half and had a Roth, any Roth for 5 years, okay? And that clock runs continuously from the establishment of any Roth IRA, whether you did a conversion or you made a contribution. Your earnings clock starts on day 1 of establishing a Roth and doesn't reset. So just hypothetically, let's say your clients are 60, they do a $300,000 Roth conversion. They've never done a Roth in the past. They're over age 59 and a half. They could turn on the income rider, and that first 300,000 out will be tax and penalty free because they're over 59 and a half. Those are the ordering rules. So they could turn on that income rider as long as they waited 5 years to get into any gain in that contract. They'll be good. So turning on the income rider, let's say it's 5 or 6%, there is no way you'll get to earnings within that 5 years. So that when eventually they do get to the gain, they're well past the 5-year earnings clock.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good question. Thank you for the detailed explanation there, Dave. Guys, I know we've got more questions, and so here's the great thing. I have, Dave, you probably don't remember me all that well because I was just getting started in the industry, but I have a relationship with Dave and his team going back a decade. I used to work with them all the time at a former IMO that I worked with, and they are a team of professionals that know their stuff and an accessible resource to producers who are contracted with Allianz. So we can ask a lot of these questions just when the opportunity or the need arises. And we do have some other resources there as well. I wish we could get to all the questions today, but guys, they're excellent questions. We just don't have time to get to everything. So Dave, I don't know if you're going to be sticking around and we can see what we can get to after Kilian gets through his part. But we do want to keep moving to make sure we're able to get to all the information today.
All right, absolutely. You guys have a great day. Matt, you know how to get a hold of us. I can give out our 800 number just really quick. If you want to get to our team, it's 800-800-3220.
And you do need to be contracted with Allianz in order to access the team, though, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dave. Really appreciate it. Nice catching up with you a bit here. And I am going to hand it off to Kilian Swirtz to discuss some of the reasons that people work with Allianz aside from Roth conversions, and in addition to our advanced markets team over there. So thank you so much, Dave. Really appreciate your time.
All righty. Well, is everyone able to hear me all right?
I can. I think we're good.
Okay, super. So thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate you giving me this opportunity, and thanks to Dave for going over the Roth conversion tool there. So I'm here today to talk about index lock. Index lock is something that has been around at Allianz since 2019. Since that time, it has changed a bit in terms of what it looks like now. Something I do want to highlight here before I get started and show some examples. 2024 was a massive year for index lock, FIA utilization of index lock here at Allianz. Almost 70% of index locks ever performed at Allianz were made in 2024. The reason I bring that up is it's catching steam. People are realizing the benefit that index lock provides, and we're really excited to see that. So in 2024, the average lock was 6.1%. Usually with fixed index annuities, we're trying to get anywhere from 3 to 5%. That's usually a pretty average return or an acceptable return for a fixed index annuity. I'm going to share my screen here. Matt, if you are able to, let's see here. All right, is everyone able to see that example there?
The PIMCO and the Bloomberg example?
Let's see here.
You may have to stop sharing and reshare if that's not what you're, there you go. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So this is just an example to kind of visualize what index lock is and how it can be useful. So up at the top here in example 2, we see that the starting value for this index that you chose is 100. Throughout the year-long crediting period, obviously it's going up and down. So in the first example here, 108, you would be able to lock in at that point if you decided that was the right choice to make. And what would happen is you would lock in that return and essentially wait until the end of that crediting period, knowing that you have secured that 8% return. At the anniversary, the contract anniversary, you get that 8% credit and be able to reallocate. So, people sometimes that are not interested in utilizing index locks say that it's kind of a gamble and you're missing out on potential upside that the index could have. And, that's certainly possible. But if you and your client have discussed a return that is acceptable and the index at the moment is surpassing that, why not lock it in and secure that return? It's going to make, the annual review a heck of a lot easier. And so the other screen that I had up here a second ago, this is an example of our policy detail page. So this is an actual return here on a policy. You can see the allocation choices that they've made. They've got about 45% in our Bloomberg 2-year index, 45% in our PIMCO 2-year index, and about 10% in the fixed interest rate, which, as you can see here on this product, is 3%. The thing I want to highlight is over here on the right-hand side, 13.96 is what this particular index is at. and obviously next to it, it's unlocked. The producer, the client, they have the ability, if they like, to lock in this return. So that's a really, really great return. That 13.96 is including that 165% participation rate right here. And so if you were satisfied with that return, go ahead and lock it in. They would wait here only about 2 more months, knowing that they had locked in that almost 14%, would receive that credit at the anniversary in May, and be able then to start this same strategy over if they wanted to, or reallocate to a number of different options.
And Kilian, let me hop in real quick and just give some real examples that I've seen here. So I work with a number of advisors who were able to lock in rates back in June, May of last year. I mean, you can lock it in at any point. And what question I get is, what happens to the accounts after they lock in that rate? Do they get the rate locked in proportionately for the first half of the year, and then it goes into a fixed account, something like that? Or what happens? Do they actually get a credit? Let's say 100% of their money was in that PIMCO account. Would they actually get a 13.96% credit at the end of the year? I know the answer to that, but I know we're going to get questions if we don't answer that.
Yep, they sure would. So if they had, $100,000 and it was all allocated to this PIMCO index right here, at the credit, or at the anniversary, they would receive $13,960 there added on to that 100,000. So that's exactly how. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Kilian.
I was just going to say, once you lock it in, essentially nothing happens. You've locked in that return, and you just wait patiently till your anniversary, knowing that you have locked in this return, and that's the actual return that you're going to receive at the anniversary.
Right. And so what I've seen with producers who utilize this feature is a closer client relationship, because a client can get into their account online and look at this on a daily basis and have a conversation with an advisor about when to lock it in. And so it's giving them some ownership, so it's not on you if they get a bad return every year, and it makes for more comfortable review conversations. And then to compare it to other carriers this year, like one carrier that is neck and neck with Allianz every year as far as top carrier in the industry, had clients with similar returns halfway through the year. And now when those policies are up for review, policies that renew in March and April of this year, those returns are gone. Whereas with the Allianz policies, you could lock it in. So it's a huge differentiators, and people are kicking themselves who made a decision to go with one accumulation product versus another that they could have gotten with Allianz. So I see this as a real winning scenario to differentiate yourself from another advisor who's not positioning a product with this sort of feature.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. I mean, there's, I've talked to so many advisors where halfway through the year, they are seeing an awesome return. They're excited. The clients are excited for that return to, hit their account at the anniversary, only to realize a few months later, it's dropped significantly, and they kind of lose what they had halfway through the year. And so, like your point there, utilizing index lock is a great way to secure those high returns that may happen periodically throughout the year. Something else I did want to mention, and the reason I mentioned this is because a lot of our advisors have many policies with us, and it's tough to keep track of each and every one, where they might be. And so something I do, and the rest of the sales team here does as well, is we send out a email every other Monday. If you've got any sort of return over 3%, it's an email that's sent out directly to the advisor saying, hey, heads up, this is where it's at. PIMCO on policy such and such is over 3%, and right now, sitting at 7 or 8%. And that way, it just allows the advisor to keep tabs on individual policies and where they might be throughout the year, so that they don't have to go through each and every one every day to see where they're at. And the other thing I did want to mention here, and I'll share this, these, if everyone can see this, these are the current March rates for our accumulation advantage product. It's just a standard growth product that, I guess specializes in the rates that it offers. So the thing I want to point out here is the annual participation rates. The annual participation rates is probably the easiest way to look at index lock. And just like I showed in this previous example here, where did that go? All right, bear with me one moment here.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. There we go. Yep, so if it's an annual participation rate, it's as easy as what that participation rate is there. You can lock it at any point within the year. But when we're looking at these multi-year strategies, so you have the option of a 2-year strategy or a 5-year strategy, you'll see that there's multiple different participation rates. And the reason being is index lock. So if you look at this Bloomberg 2-year, for example, you've got a 180% par rate in year 1, a 230 in year 2. The great thing with index lock and our multi-year strategies is it allows these strategies to be more flexible. You aren't necessarily going to be stuck in a 2-year strategy by choosing a 2-year strategy. What you can do if you see a real great return year 1, maybe you're 6 months into the contract and you've selected this Bloomberg 2-year option, you can actually lock that return in, and instead of having to wait until the end of that 2-year crediting period, you'll get that return at the nearest anniversary to the point where you perform that index lock. And so a lot of people shy away from the multi-year strategies because they feel like they're tying their clients up, in that strategy for a certain amount of years. The index lock feature allows them to be flexible in that sense. And that's where these different participation rates come into play. If you perform a lock in year 1, the return is being multiplied by 180%. If you wait until year 2, it's a slight reward there with a higher participation rate, in this case of 230%. Same thing works for the 5-year strategy and the multiple different participation rates here. So you could select a 5-year strategy, lock it in 8 months in, and at that anniversary, realize that return and be able to reallocate to a different strategy or start that same strategy over again. So I guess any questions with those multi-year strategies? A lot of times that can be kind of the confusing part with index lock.
I'm looking, and we do have a couple of questions, it looks like. So usually when we're suggesting the index lock, would that need to be done by the client, or could we as the producer do that? If we could do it for the client, do we need written authorization in an email or somewhere to process in case of future issues?
Yeah, great question. So on any sort of application, there is a question that says, would you like to allow your financial advisor to have telephone/electronic authorization? Most of the time the clients are selecting yes to that. And if that is the case, going forward on the policy, the advisor can make any sort of index lock decisions without needing the client to sign off on anything or call in. And so that's the great part about it. There's many ways that you can do so. One being through our policy detail page on the website. You can just lock it in right there. You can call into our service team and do it there as well. So it's flexible in the sense of the options you have to actually lock in. But both the client and the advisor could perform the index lock.
Awesome. So yeah, fantastic feature on that product, and you couple that with some of the product that you guys have. Like if you assume even just a 3 to 5% return on the ABC, and you're looking at an income story for a client, in most situations, it's going to be the winner across the industry. If you guys use Rate Watch or Annuities Genius, you'll see that. So I think it's a fantastic product. One thing you didn't really hit on here, Kilian, that I think is another powerful piece is your renewal rate integrity, which is very, very strong at Allianz. They changed their pricing philosophy a couple of years back, and they've done a very, very good job of maintaining rates for clients. And that's a story that can't be told by every carrier for sure. So if you've got somebody that's been burned by annuities in the past, I know Allianz has some good marketing pieces to give the client a little bit more confidence that they're going to get what they are purchasing or what they think they're purchasing with Allianz.
Yep, great point. So we came out with a study, I don't know, about almost a year ago now, and looked at our past issued business, and 98% of the time, the participation rate strategies renew the same or better than what they were issued at originally. And so that's a really powerful thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. The index lock feature is available on all the participation rate strategies, which make up a majority of the index choices available on each of our products. So you see here, there's a S&P cap, of course. The index lock feature is not available on that, but it is available on just about everything else you see here on this page.
Perfect. Kilian, I thank you so much for the information. Do you have anything else that you were planning on covering, or is that pretty much it? We can get to a couple of questions.
The one last thing I wanted to touch on was targets. So another great part of index lock is the ability to set upper and lower targets. Maybe you're looking at a return of, let's say, 7%, and you're not sure if you want to lock it in or not. What you can do instead is set both an upper or a lower target, and it's kind of just like set it and forget it. So you put that target for the upper and the lower, and let's say your upper target is 10%. Maybe 2 months later, it hits 10%, it'll lock it in at that point. So just another way that you can kind of play around with index lock and not necessarily have to make the choice on that exact day. And you can change those targets every day too. If the index starts moving up, maybe it goes from 7 to now 9, your upper target's set at 10, and you say, I think let's move it to 12. You can do so. So that's another great feature with index lock that we should certainly mention.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a fantastic feature. Again, it gives clients ownership too, which takes a lot of that off of you as the advisor, and again sets up comfortable renewal conversations, which I think is really, really important to advisors who are doing annual reviews with clients. Gives you an opportunity to get in front of more assets, more referrals. Really, really powerful tool here, not just on the product you're selling, but on just kind of a building a practice sort of concept too. I think these products offer an ability that you can't find with a lot of other carriers. And Allianz has always been an innovator in the industry, going back to increasing income, volatility controlled indices, and a number of other features. Everybody tries to duplicate it, but they're usually about 5 years behind the curve. We are starting to see 1 or 2 other carriers introduce rate lock features. They don't do it as well, but Allianz continues to refine their features and offer excellent solutions to clients. So, Kilian, this is awesome. Thank you for presenting it. A couple of questions here real quick. So if we select the 5-year but lock in the first year, we still get 225% of the participation rate from Bloomberg. Then why are we why would we select 1 or 2 year?
So I guess, okay, so good question. Yep. So I guess the issue maybe, or what you'd want to be cautious with if you put 100% of your allocation towards a 5-year strategy, maybe you put 100% in this Bloomberg 5-year that I have highlighted here. If the index is down that year, you can't lock in a negative return. And so that means that it'll just continue on to the next year. Then you'll be in year 2. And if year 2 doesn't have any sort of positive return, maybe for some reason the Bloomberg is still negative, you're going to roll into year 3. So you kind of get the picture there where your hands are tied in that sense. It requires a positive return to be able to lock in. And so in the situation or scenario where you have, these negative returns on an index, it would be, I think, advantageous or wise to at least allocate a portion towards an annual strategy or a 2-year strategy, if that makes sense.
Perfect. All right. I know we have a couple more questions, guys. Eric, there were a couple of years that I couldn't get to, so I will give you a call if that's okay, and spend a little bit of time one-on-one with you, because I think I can provide the answers that you're looking for. And if anybody else has any questions, just let me know here. We've got 1 or 2 more minutes before we need to hop off here. But I just want to say, Kilian, thank you again. For those of you who have been here with us at IAMS for a long time, we haven't done as much business with Allianz as maybe some of the other groups like us have. And I think that comes from, most of the people employed here at IAMS just aren't as familiar with the product, but it is a missed opportunity for sure. And one that I wanted to bring some attention to, and we'll continue to do webinars like this with Allianz on a more periodic basis. But this is just, one of the features that I think is impactful, especially in 2024 and 2025. It makes for a very good story, a very real story. But thank you again for spending some time with us to learn about that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions that need follow-up on, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be in touch. We've got that's one more thing, guys. We've got a great support team internally over at Allianz. If there's ever a question we need answered, we have about 20 different phone numbers of people we can call. Kilian isn't even my guy, to be honest. We've got another internal rep assigned to us, a couple of them actually, but he stepped in because they're just traveling or out or for whatever reason. They all help each other out. They're an excellent team over there. So thanks again, Kilian, for your time. And we will see you guys on the next webinar. This is not available in New York. That's a question I can't answer very quickly. Unfortunately, New York is its own beast, but we can have a conversation about that if you'd like. Thanks again, Kilian, and we will see you guys on the next webinar. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Take care.